Welcome, everybody, to a holiday edition of Bears Nation podcast. Happy holidays to all those who celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it may be. We're wishing you guys a great holiday season from all of us here at Bears Nation podcast. Today, myself, Kevin Lapko, alongside Kellen Garanstein. Jake Hassan out today. He's doing working, but Kellen and I are going to hold it down for you. Maybe we'll get into a little bit of therapy for us Bears fans. We usually do on Tuesdays. Didn't do it this week, but we'll get at it. Kellen, happy holidays, my man. Are you ready to watch some Bears Bills on Christmas Eve? Negative 17 degrees.
Yeah, build a dome. Build a freaking dome,
That's
man.
your statement?
I am not of this opinion that cold weather gives the Bears some home field. It does not. It just doesn't. This is not 1970 anymore. This is 2022. Let's build a damn dome.
There's no statistical evidence that proves
No,
cold
there's
weather
not.
gives you an advantage.
There's not.
There's not at all. And it's funny because I'm big into the betting space now, right? So then all these betting people are trying to use the weather to their advantage to figure out whether there is whether there's really things to look at as far as cold temperatures. There's nothing. Like there's snow, yes, rain, yes, but when it comes to pure temperature, you're not gaining an advantage by it just being cold. You're not going to find it. You're not going to, I'm going to bet this guy to not throw the ball because it's cold. That's not a real thing. Now it sucks for the fans, and tickets on StubHub for Soldier Field, bro, they have dropped to like $9. It's insane. I mean, I get it. Christmas Eve. You really want to go? And it's not just it's not just the fact that it's negative 17 degrees. It's the wind chill, man. We're talking about 40 mile an hour winds right next to Lake Michigan. Like, how that feels in that stadium. It is not going to be fun for those fans.
And it's not going to be fun for the players either. They'll be all right, but I would not want to play. As someone who loves the game of football, I love playing football. I would not want to play in that weather. I just wouldn't want to do it.
What's the coldest you've ever played in?
So Wright State last year, in our conference championship game, the snow was sticking to the ground and the wind chill was probably like 10 degrees. It was pretty cold out there. And, we don't have like heated benches or space heaters or stuff to heat our helmets. And we don't have the big jackets. Like, it was rough out there, but we got through it. The ground was frozen, so we ran the ball for like 500 yards of that game. I threw maybe 3 passes. It was pretty cool.
Oh my god, that's awesome, dude! Did you go no sleeves?
I had like these quarter sleeves, so yeah, I did.
Okay, that counts.
It was pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. I got some pictures from that game. I was
hell yes.
I'm all right.
Dude, those snow pictures are different too, man.
Yeah, man.
Those are crazy. But yeah, we'll see. I'm sure the entire offensive line will go no sleeves, just because they're crazy. But again, they get the coats and they get the heated gear. I think the thing is it's probably more manageable than people think, right? Like, how could you ever play in this? Well,
right.
When
especially
you're an NFL team, $1 billion organizations can pay for whatever the F you need, from a gear perspective, from an equipment perspective on the sideline. So, but nonetheless, not pleasant. And the ground is a very big factor. Like when you hit that ground, it's might have been what sort of contributed to Jalen Hurts' injury last week. That ground was super hard. Travis Gibson fell on him, and he had a shoulder injury that's going to keep him out. Even though Gardner Minshew versus the Cowboys is going to be absolutely electric. That'd be exciting. But nonetheless, I think it's fun. It's fun to have a game on Christmas Eve. It for whatever it feels a little bit more significant. I don't know why. Holiday game. I guess more people are watching. I don't know. You're sitting around with some family watching the game, and you're watching 2 quarterbacks go at it. 2 good quarterbacks. You got Josh Allen versus Justin Fields. You got a guy on the other side of the field who you think Justin Fields could become, in my opinion, could become better than that guy. That's just where I stand. And Josh Allen's, he's had an interesting year. He started really hot, then sort of tapered off a little bit, was throwing a lot of interceptions, wasn't putting up the same numbers, and then kind of getting back to it here the last couple of weeks, specifically in that last game against Miami, which was also a snow game for them in Buffalo. So again, when you talk about no advantage, you're playing the Bills, who deal with these conditions more often than you do. Up there in Buffalo, New York, wherever they play. I forget where.
Orchard Park.
Orchard Park. That's what it is. Orchard Park. So initial thoughts, man. Like, What stands out to you about this game? Like, are you just looking at it like pure blowout, not really excited to watch it? You kind of getting into it? You leaning into it? What are you feeling about this one?
No, man, I think it'll be the same kind of thing as the Eagles. The Bears, they have a quarterback that can keep them in the game, and he doesn't have the weapons yet to, uh, just like win these kind of games. I mean, we've seen it week in
Mm-hmm.
and week out. The Bears have a lead, um, or they're in the game. Like we were winning against the Packers, we were winning against the Eagles, we were in the game versus, the Dolphins and whatnot. So we were winning that game by a good amount too. But I digress. So I don't know. I mean, it's just the same kind of thing. I'm never gonna say I hope the Bears lose because
I don't
when the
know,
Ba-
dude. I don't know.
I know, I know, but it's got to be me and you on this. You can't
Yeah.
leave me out to dry because I always feel good because you always feel like this too. You know, think about like what it means when the Bears win. Like you just have such a good week. Now it doesn't matter this week because it's the holidays. I'm gonna have a good week anyway. I'm gonna be drinking spiked eggnog
Oh.
and being around family and all that. Like it's gonna be good. We're gonna be fine. Like win, lose, draw. Uh, but same type of deal. Like let's see Justin Fields. Throw the ball, man. Like can we? I don't give a damn who he's throwing to. Like let's see him throw the ball. And I get maybe don't drop him back a million times a game, but let's do something. The Bills don't have Von Miller, but Gregory Rousseau has been solid. AJ Epinesa has been solid. They've got some good players in that D. Trey White, obviously coming back from the injury, still really solid corner. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, same type of deal, man. Just see him take a step forward as a passer, keep him upright, uh, run the ball. Khalil Herbert is back, which will be good for everyone because the share of contact for guys like Fields and Montgomery will go down. Both Darrington Evans and Tristan Ebner haven't really been solid spellbacks for him, so this would be really good to have him back for this game as far as a competition standpoint.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Hey, this is a Bills secondary that's been, I don't know, relatively vulnerable. I mean, they're still a good secondary, but they're 22nd in completion percentage and opponent completion percentage. They are fifth in the league in pass yards per game. But they've been a little bit vulnerable a couple times this year, specifically on the road. Now, again, you mentioned it, right? You're without Chase Claypool again. He's doubtful. He's probably not going to play, especially in these conditions. It doesn't make a lot of sense that he would be out there. Now, N'Keal Harry, a full participant in practice all week, that's a guy where if he's not active this week, I got no answers for you. I mean, I quite
Yeah,
frankly don't know why he wasn't active last week, and it's obviously more significant in hindsight once EQ St. Brown went down. But still, why can't he at least be active? He's a healthy scratch. I have no idea why. It makes no sense. And you talk about, well, think about guys where if you just want Justin to throw the ball but not have it get picked off, like again, just have him throw it up to N'Keal Harry. It's not like this is a foreign concept. It's worked. There's evidence that it works for you. They scored a touchdown on it. They had a big play in I think that was the Green Bay game on Jair Alexander that he had the big time catch on the field for like 50 yards. And then there was a couple plays, a couple of seam routes where they targeted him. Like N'Keal Harry's not going to get separation on Tre'Davious White. He's not going to get separation on any of the Bills corners, but that's not what he's supposed to do. You just throw the ball up, be a safety blanket for him. And that's quite frankly what he's been. It's been weird. There have been situations with this offense. I have absolutely loved Luke Getsy. If I were to do a grade of him throughout the entire year, I give him an A. You got to give him an A. You just have to for what he's done with this offense and the how far they've come. But the thing that I've been most critical about with him is not giving certain guys opportunities when they, in my opinion, either deserve them or when you're at the point where you don't have anything to lose. Like, why? What do you gain from not making N'Keal Harry active? Like, this is a guy who's probably not going to be on the team next year. But like, if you are looking to offload money, right? And say you're going to trade for T. Higgins and you're looking to offload money, and N'Keal Harry is a playmaker for you in these last couple games and proved it that when he's on the field, he can be a guy who can go up and get the ball. I could see them keeping him for like a $3 million contract, $2 million contract, like another 1 year deal. I mean, you're going to give a 1 year deal to one of these receivers. Why not it be him? The health is a concern if he can stay healthy. He's been injured a couple times this year, but that's a guy, Kellen, who absolutely, in my opinion, needs to be on the field Sunday. And if he is, 100% needs to be utilized because Justin Fields doesn't have many other options.
yeah, I'm with you. It's just it's so hard because like for me to say, yeah, I'd rather him get looks and targets than EQ St. Brown. Like it's just kind of picking between like a garbage can and I don't know, something else smelly. You know what I mean? But N'Keal Harry hasn't been awful when he's been on the field. I think like if you were to show a Patriots fan like the couple plays he's made for us, the Patriots fans would be like, "Well, what the hell? Why didn't he do that stuff for us?"
True.
Even though it hasn't been consistent, he's been hurt, and it's not like he's made like 6 or 7 catches in a game yet. He hasn't made that big of an impact. He's just made a couple splash plays, and good for him on that. But yeah, I would just love to like supremely upgrade. And if he's like your wide receiver 4 next year, if he's your 4th best receiver, I think by all means, depending on who those first 3, that's a good thing. If he's the 5th, that's also a good thing. I've always been a proponent of him moving to like full-time tight end because he's one of the best
Boom.
blocking wide receivers
Yes.
in football. And you know how I feel about Cole Kmet, who has had a bigger role and has made an impact, but he's just so slow, and he just doesn't give you a ton as far as being an a playmaker. Is he like
Correct.
he's a
Yeah.
top 10 tight end in the NFL right now because the tight end position is lacking in consistency and a guy who can do a lot of
Right.
things. He's someone that can at least chip a defensive end. He's someone that can be a safety valve. He can run block. He can be an extra guy in the pass as a pass blocker. You know, he can do like different things as a tight end. But he doesn't do any of them great. Like you might not even be able to say he does any of them good. He does a bunch of things above average, but N'Keal Harry gives you more juice as a tight end. He doesn't give you a lot of juice as a receiver. Not a lot of separation there. But if you can try and just move him completely, Ohio State has done that with G. Scott this year, who was a high 4-star receiver, and he's full-time tight end now. Gotten much better as a run blocker. Has gotten a few looks in the pass game as a pass catcher. So, not saying that they should do what Ohio State has done, but I'm just saying if they want to find a role for him for next year and say like we just didn't see enough from you, but we want to bring you back. Fuck man, move him to tight end. I'd rather see him get those tight end reps than Ryan Griffin.
100%.
Just my
It's
opinion.
right before you said that, I was looking up, like before you even mentioned the tight end thing, I was looking up the height and weight of N'Keal Harry versus Cole Kmet. Now, it's worth noting Cole Kmet is a significantly bigger guy than most tight ends in the league. He's a significantly meatier guy. He's
Mhm.
pretty heavy. He's 260, right? He's 6'6",
That's why he's
260, and
so
N'Keal
damn
Harry.
slow, though.
Exactly. Like you can't. And look, I'm back in on Cole Kmet. Like that's a guy who's an asset for your team now, but he's not. And it's hard to expect and want a Travis Kelce, a Mark Andrews, a George Kittle, a Kyle Pitts, right? Like these guys are rarities in the league, and quite frankly, you don't need one of those guys to get to the
Mhm.
promised land. Does it help? Yes. You don't need it.
Mhm.
Bills are doing it with Dawson Knox, who's perfectly fine. And that's actually interesting. Look at Dawson Knox's height and weight, because that's a guy who's pretty small. I bet N'Keal Harry is probably about the same exact size as Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox is 6'4", 254. So he's about 25 pounds heavier than N'Keal Harry. But if they were to flex N'Keal Harry to that position, part of the off-season training program would be, hey, we need to get 15 to 20 pounds on you, to get you up to an optimal tight end size. You're already not the fastest guy, but even if you do add the 15, 20 pounds, you'll probably still be faster than Cole Kmet and still be faster than a majority of tight ends in the league. It is a very interesting proposition to follow. When's the last time it's happened? I can't, not for the Bears, but around the league. I'm trying to think of another notable situation where a guy this late in his career has flexed to go from wide receiver to tight end. If you guys in the chat can think of any, drop them in there and we'll reference them. Help us out here. But it's something to follow, because it's like, like for most people, whether you watch football or not, whether you played it, whether you were an athlete or not, like when you watch N'Keal Harry run, he looks like a tight end. He runs like
Yeah,
a tight
he
end.
does. He does.
Like it's just the way he is. And it's not a bad thing. Like at this point in his career, if you're saying, oh well, he's moving to tight end, like hey, career done, he's not a wide receiver anymore, what's his value? At this point, you're just trying to make something out of nothing. I mean, that's really what you're trying to do. It's not a bad thing at all. And if anything, it's probably a good thing for him, even if he's not a Bear after
Right.
2022. Like he could probably find a role somewhere else, at least as a tight end too. But if you're not going to take a tight end in the draft, which when you think about the amount of needs that this team has, I don't think tight end is up there on the list. Then yeah, if he can flex into your tight end too, and you can say bye-bye to Ryan Griffin, who had like one snap on Sunday and it was a false start, and Trayvon Wesco, who, has been hurt a little bit, then I'm all in. So interesting point. I just think it's too late. It's obviously too late into the season to like I think you have to do that in the offseason, right? You
Yeah.
can't mid-season change a position.
Yeah, that has to be a conversation between him and a coach, or him, a coach, and Ryan Poles or Ian Cunningham, whoever it may be. Like, hey, like if N'Keal Harry says I want to stay on this team, that might be a thing where they say, well, we don't think you can play receiver, but we'll give you a shot at tight end if you can do this, this, and this in the offseason for us. That's probably, so it's probably like a non-guaranteed contract, right? They give him like a year, and whatever amount of it isn't guaranteed. It's based on the principle that he puts on X amount of weight and maintains that weight and maintains X amount of speed. Da, 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 da. But if he does that, like, I don't know, maybe we're oversimplifying it. Maybe it's just not that easy in the NFL, and it's probably not. But just from an outsider perspective, I just feel like, why wouldn't you try and find value in a guy like that, unless you plan on taking a tight end in the draft, which I wouldn't want them to do unless they really like the guy late, especially with the cap situation that we have. Throw a
Yeah.
guy 1.5, 2, 3 million. It's fine.
I mean, the thing is, like, you already mentioned him being a phenomenal blocker. What else would we have to learn?
Yep.
There's not there's different techniques when you're blocking corners down the field versus blocking Micah Parsons or chipping
Right.
chipping and head rush. Like there's different techniques, but if you're given 5 months of a full offseason for a guy who's already got a pretty good base foundation of how to block, yeah, I think I think he could be just fine. Shane M in the chat saying tickets down to $10. Yeah, but I said they were down to 9. Probably get them tomorrow or Saturday morning for like 5. If you guys in the chat are attending the game, let us know. That is batshit crazy. I want to know what you're wearing to that game and how you're preparing for it. They said the Bears sent out an email to all the fans telling them how to prepare and all this stuff, and it's going to be crazy. At least there won't be any snow. The snow will be done. It's snowing right now as we're recording this, and if you're listening to this in podcast form, probably about 6-7 inches of snow by your place. But well, if you're in Chicago, there's a ton of our listeners who don't even live in this country, so apologies for that. But more on this game, right? So again, Justin Fields versus Josh Allen, that's the storyline. What I said last week, in my honest opinion, I thought that Justin Fields outplayed Jalen Hurts, given context, right? Given the what each player had to their disposal in that game, considering the receiving core, and it's not going to change much this week again with the injuries to Claypool. What are you expecting out of Justin again in this game, right? You talked about the ground being so hard, but we've made all these narratives of because of this reason, he's not going to run as much, and he still does, whether he's injured or not. He's going out there and he's rushing for 90 yards each game. I know you mentioned that they're going to pass a little bit more in your opinion. Do you think because of these conditions for any reason, and because of how hard the ground is going to be, and because you're playing a pretty fast Bills defense, that they're not going to run as much as they typically do with Justin?
Yeah, I would hope so. Because you want to avoid a Jalen Hurts thing, even though it's late in the season, and if they shut him down, we would all be upset because we wouldn't be able to watch him anymore. But we would all understand why they did that. I think for him, as far as like seeing what we want to see going forward, it's hard to evaluate him as a drop back passer because his guys just aren't open and the pressure is getting there so quickly. And when he does have time and when guys are open, he is making those plays. For him, I think it's just making easy things easy. And sometimes there was a little bit of an issue at Ohio State, like a very tiny one. But for him now, it's like, like the quick screens. Like I talk shit on Zach Wilson because he throws bubble screens and shit like that in the dirt. But his like quality of misses are very, very poor. For Justin Fields, I think it's just like a thing where he feels rushed and just kind of like
Right.
Mahomes will hit those throws 10 times out of 10, and he's Mahomes, and that's fine. But like for Justin, it's like a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 thing. And in the NFL, like you want to try and make in a long handoff, you want to try and make those screens, stuff like that. Like 10 out of 10 every time it's a long handoff. We're just extending the ball out 4 yards, let my receiver try and make a play, get a first down. Right, like the fourth down throw to Dante Pettis on the out route. Like Justin should make that throw. He's made that throw. There's no reason for him to not make that throw. He just missed, and guys miss. It happens. But that's something that you want to see him eliminate: is don't let easy things be hard. Right, just make easy things easy. trust your feet, trust your guys. I know it's hard out there because his team is not very good, and a lot of those guys probably won't be back next year, or they won't be contributors next year. So, like I said, don't think there's going to be a big drop back game because of the win, because of the Bills' pass rush, and the Bears being banged up as usual, the ground being super hard. Don't let Justin take big hits in this weather. So, hopefully, quick game is there, and hopefully, we see improvement in that.
That's a good point because he makes the hard things look easy so often. You know what I
He
mean?
does.
And you're right. And it's like because he does that, we don't look at the easy things that he makes look hard as anything significant, as you really shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
But if he wants to become that top 5 quarterback, top 3 quarterback in the league that he very well could become, then yeah, like those easy things are going to have to be 100%. So that's a great point. And it's been impressive, man. Like Justin Fields' highest passer rating of any passer that played the Eagles, this past this entire year last week with 119.2. He lit up the Dolphins, whose defense isn't great, but it's certainly not bad. He lit up the Patriots, who's locked down a ton of quarterbacks, specifically at home. Like it seems to be that his play has been transcendent of the opponent and how good their defense has been, which is, again, a testament to making the hard things look easy. There's not a lot of guys that can do that. Like if you can get to a point where each week when it comes to 2023 and you're talking about next year, the opponent's talent level on defense isn't as significant, to your quarterback's success, like that means a lot. Because it felt like for years and for decades for this team, like you only had a chance if you were playing a bad defense. And the moment you ran into a good defense, your quarterback just wasn't good enough to beat them in any way. You know what I mean? They didn't have the talent to overcome the Dallas game. What a great example. He one of the best games of the year for him against the best defense in the NFL that also sacked him like 7 times in that game. Like I've gotten to this point already with him where I look at this game and I look at the Eagles game. I predicted them to score 29 points in that game. They only ended up scoring 20. And I'm like, there's no drop off for me. There was no drop off in total points scored because of how good the defense was. Like that's where I'm at with them. And yes, it's going to make a difference. Like in the future, like obviously you're playing a bad defense versus a really good defense. Like there's probably going to be some sort of difference. But when I think about it, when I evaluate it, I'm not fearful of those teams as much anymore because I know the quarterback that you have can overcome that with ease, regardless of who's out on the field. And that is an incredible, incredible quality, incredible thing to feel. Like that's what Chiefs fans feel like.
And when's the last time the Bears lost a game that Justin Fields started by more than a one score? Do we know? Obviously, not counting the Packers
game was more
game.
than one score.
It doesn't count because that doesn't count. Besides the Packers game,
I don't think there's been one.
The first Packers game.
That first Packers game was also a 2-score game, I think.
Right? Yeah, the first Packers game was 27-10, I think. All right. Like that. Bears schedule.
Cowboys.
The Dolphins,
Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys. Yeah. Thank you.
Cowboys. That's what it was.
Who, again,
just are
a very hot football team. Yeah, they're a lot better football team than we are. But that was a game where the defense gave up 49 points. So it's only been the Cowboys and the first Packers game because the Giants game was 20-12, one-score game. Yep, Vikings game was a one-score game. Shout out Emir Smith-Marset. Then we won against the Patriots. And then
Commanders was before that. That we lost 12-7.
Should have won that game. Kind of happy we didn't now, but in the meantime, I was upset. Yeah, so I mean, like we're in every single game. We're in every single game, and we have played a better schedule than we thought it would have been. The Giants and the Commanders are both better than we thought they would be.
Correct.
At the beginning of the year, the Eagles are the best team in football and are playing like it. The Cowboys, obviously, we just said how that game went, but at halftime, looked like the Bears could have been right there, and who knows what happens. A couple of things don't go, the way they went as far as the Velus Jones drop and Justin Fields tagging Michael Parsons when he's down, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's a bunch of what ifs. But the fact of the matter is, like, you're right, Kevin. Like, for once, we have an offense that the offense keeps us in the game, not the defense before.
Yep.
The defense was the side that did that. Guys, like I look back at 2018, and there were like the Cardinals game where we won like 14-9, or same thing with the 49ers game. Like there were so many games where it was just like we did not score points, and the defense saved our. And we were all like, Matt Nagy, Matt, and Vic Fangio was easily, easily the reason that team did what it did.
That's such a good point. That is such a good point. We were all rah, 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 coach of the year. And like, that's why I'm saying, and this is why, look at the New York Giants and Brian Daboll. That's all I'm going to say. That is all I am going to say is everyone was so high on him earlier in the year because they were winning. They're not putting up a ton of points, right? But they were winning, and they're still winning. 8-5-1. They're probably on a good track to make the playoffs. Probably going to get bounced in the first round. He might win coach of the year. I'm just saying for you New York Giants fans, we've seen this. Don't get too excited. Don't get too, because then they're going to, you know what they're going to do? Then they're going to play it's Daniel Jones isn't good enough. Let's get another guy in. And if that doesn't work for them, then you're going to know what the problem is. So I don't know. I just think that's a very, very interesting situation. Something else that popped in my mind when you're talking about the schedule, maybe we should stop evaluating strength of schedule at the beginning of the season as much as we do, because one of the significant reasons why I thought this could be a 9-10 win team is they were the second easiest strength of schedule in the league. I was like, oh, they're going to run through some of these teams. And then all of a sudden, the New York Giants are really good. All of a sudden, the Commanders are really good. All of a sudden, the Cowboys are even better than what we thought. The Dolphins, right? The Eagles, like it just clicks for all these teams. And you're going to end up at the end of the year with one of the toughest schedules. And the Jets, one of the toughest schedules in the NFL, after you're supposed to have the second easiest. So maybe we have to start, putting as much into it as far as strength of schedule when we evaluate the records for these. I just think that's a really, really interesting thing to look at. Even the Patriots. I mean, they're on pace to make they were until Jacoby Myers threw that pass backwards. What? Oh man, so much for getting Jacoby Myers in free agency. No, I will say there's been a lot of people who said that, and I don't agree with that. Like, it doesn't mean Jacoby Myers is a bad player. Everyone makes boneheaded plays. It happens. He's still really good. He's not really good. He's still good. But the Bears should not be spending money on Jacoby Myers, and not because of that play against the Vegas. It's just what do you gain from spending money on Jacoby Myers? You don't gain anything. He's not a wide receiver one. He's not. Probably not. Is he even better than Darnell Mooney?
No.
I don't think he is, but a lot of Patriots fans who made this TikTok in the summer think Kendrick Bourne is better than Darnell Mooney. Yeah. So I'm gonna stitch that.
They all thought Mac Jones was a good quarterback too, though. So
yeah, exactly.
Their opinion doesn't matter.
Because here's the problem with Patriots fans, man. They've seen the miracle happen so many. We've seen Tom Brady's 6th rounder. Like, if he can be good, then surely Mac can be good, and all these 7th undrafted people who just become great in their organization. Like, every player is going to be great who is ever drafted. Like, it's just so spoiled out there in New England.
They are.
So let's talk Pro Bowl a little bit. We did this on Monday of whether Justin Fields would make the Pro Bowl or not, whether any of the Bears make the Pro Bowl. The returns came in yesterday on Wednesday, December 21st. No Bears made it. No Justin Fields, let's start there because I know you're going to have some thoughts on this. So the quarterbacks they made in the NFC, you have, of course, Jalen Hurts, locked to make it. Cannot be upset about that. Geno Smith, had a hot start to the season. Has really tapered off, but his team is 500. They're in the playoff hunt. I think, are they 7-8 now? I don't know what I don't think they can be. I don't think they can be because there has not been 15 games played yet. So I think they're only 7-7. I think they did lose last week. I forget who they played. I think they played Thursday night against San Francisco 49ers. Anyway, Geno Smith, he makes it. And of course, they just throw Kirk Cousins in there because they're 11-3 or 10-4, whatever the F they are. I don't care, whatever their record is. They could be 14-0, and I'd still call them the most fraudulent team in NFL history. Did Justin Fields deserve to get in, Kellen? You tell me. Unbiased opinion, objective opinion here.
Yeah. We all know how this works, right? Like, we all know how Pro Bowl voting works. If Justin Fields was on the Vikings, would they be just as good? Probably, yeah. Like Kevin O'Connell's a good coach. Yeah, they probably would be. Imagine Justin Fields with Justin Jefferson. Yeah, man. If you watch the games, and a lot of people don't. A lot of people who vote on the Pro Bowl don't watch all of, and it's hard. Like there's a lot of football games that happen. You can't watch everything, and you can't watch every moment of everything. But Justin Fields has been pretty damn good this year. Did I expect him to make it over Kirk Cousins and Geno Smith? No, but should he have made it over Kirk Cousins? Probably. Yeah, probably. As far as giving context to what Justin Fields has done, defensive coordinators now, after the Patriots game, prepare every week for his legs. And every week, the same thing happens. He does things that you can't prepare for. You can't tackle him. You can't. We saw the Packers. They literally perfectly gap exchanged on that zone read, and he just made whoever that nickelback was miss, and he ran away from everyone. We saw the Eagles, one of the best and most sound defenses in the league. They couldn't tackle him. They couldn't tackle. Like he just does things that you can't coach. And Kirk Cousins is very good at executing what this is the chef versus the baker argument. When you're a baker and I'm making cake, I'm making brownies, I'm making cookies, I do exactly what the recipe tells me to, and it comes out great, right? I put X amount of flour, I put X amount of sugar, eggs, milk, whatever in there, right? If I stray from that, if I add an extra egg, if I add an extra cup of milk or take away a stick of butter, it doesn't come out. You can't stray from the recipe because then it will come out bad. When you're a chef, if you want to add more garlic powder, add more garlic powder, and it will come out how you want it to. If you're a chef and you want to add a couple of shots of hot sauce, you do that, and it comes out better. Justin Fields is a chef. Kirk Cousins is a baker. And bakers work fine sometimes. Bakers are good enough to get you. It's funny that Baker Mayfield, haha. Bakers are good enough to get you to the Super Bowl. We saw with Jimmy Garoppolo and Jared Goff.
Mm-hmm.
You need a chef to win a Super Bowl. And obviously, this is why everyone thinks the Vikings are frauds.
Wow. Round of applause. What an analogy. That was great.
I didn't make that up. I learned that from someone. I don't remember who it was, but I didn't make that up. But it stuck with me because it's true, right? It's very true.
You did a good job of explaining it. And what you said that stood out to me in the beginning was, he's a guy you can't game plan for. And those are the guys that, that win Super Bowls, man. Those are the guys that are the best quarterbacks in the league. You can't game plan for Patrick Mahomes. You can't. You can't game plan for Josh Allen. You could try your best, but they're going to make plays that just you can't comprehend. Couldn't at times game plan for Tom Brady because he's just smarter than everyone, and he was going to just figure out what you were trying to game plan him against him. Kirk Cousins, the Bears game plan against him multiple times in his career and shut him down like every year until this year, really. Like easy, done, fine. That's such a good point. Yes, I think Justin Fields should have been in the Pro Bowl conversation. I wouldn't say I expected it, again, just because of the fact, like, it's very rare you'll see a team at 3-11 have a Pro Bowl quarterback. It's just hard. But it's interesting because I forgot we talked about this on Monday. The other 66% of the vote is 33%. It's 1/3 players, 1/3 coaches. So you're getting voted. I had always thought, it's all pro that is voted on by the pundits and the pro football writers of AP, whatever it is, right? But Pro Bowl, I didn't know. I forgot that the other 66% was his peers. And the reason why I thought it was interesting is because every single week, after every single week, a lot of these guys have podcasts now. You see Jason Kelsey and Travis Kelsey with their awesome stuff, and Darius Slay has one. Every single player that plays against Justin Fields goes on their podcast on Monday and Tuesday and lauds about how good he is. Every single one. And the coach after the game does the same thing. Everyone remembers the Mike McDaniel. Well, he's not the only one. Bill Belichick did it. This guy has gotten the utmost respect from everyone. And the other thing where, the players and coaches input comes in is that NFL top 100 list they do. Justin Fields 100% going to be on that list. 100%.
He should. If he's not, we have to riot.
That would be absolutely absurd. But just interesting, just interesting. And again, it doesn't mean that much because Justin Fields is going to be a Pro Bowler for probably 5 straight years now. Like it doesn't, if he missed out on this year, it's probably not a big deal. But There you have it. Eddie Jackson did not make it. He was very upset about it. He was reposting. We made a graphic at the score of he was the leading vote getter after the first returns, but they pulled him off the ballot because IR players you cannot vote for them. You cannot vote for a player who's been put on IR, which is just flood. Because he was saying in his Instagram post there was another safety that missed 7 games but got elected to the Pro Bowl but was never put on IR. And he's like, this is stupid. He's like, he's missed 3 games. I got put in IR, but I didn't get in because I was put on IR. But another guy missed more games than me, but he got in because he wasn't put on IR. That's just a stupid rule. It doesn't exist in any other sport. It doesn't exist in the NBA. It doesn't exist in the NHL. I don't even know how the NHL does their thing. It certainly doesn't exist in the MLB. Really, really interesting. It makes absolutely no sense on that end. And it was funny. Tyreek Hill tweeted today. He's like, if you're not going to do tackle anymore in the Pro Bowl, he actually was, suggesting that they put it in the middle of the season like the NBA does, with the All-Star break. To me, that's just not possible because they give
football is just
but here's where it is interesting. We've so frustrated this year by the Bears having the Week 14 bye. I think I brought this stat up a couple of weeks ago. I can't even remember if I read it off, but I put it in my notes. Like, I think there were 6 teams that have. Is it here? I'm looking for it. There are 6 teams that had Week 14 buys, and like 5 of them are losing teams. Like it's significant. Like, obviously, we know the health of your players has a significant impact on your team. So if you were to do a mid-season All-Star or Pro Bowl, it would be an extra week of rest for them. But I don't think the NFL wants to lose out on a week of ratings and stuff because it doesn't even compare to the NBA All-Star game and 3-point contests and all the things they do. So, and that would eventually push the season back. But then if that happened, okay, here's the other thing. If that were to happen, if they were to add an extra week, and I saw some woman made a TikTok about this, about how the NFL can change so that the day after the Super Bowl is a day off for all of us who want the Monday after Super Bowl off. If you added an extra day, it would only apply to the kids because in the working world, no one fucking gets President's Day off. But if you add an extra week, the Super Bowl would be a week later, and President's Day would come on Monday, the day after the Super Bowl. So all the college kids and all the high school and all the people under 18 or under 22.
That's a good idea because I never wanted to go to the. Who wants to stay up till 9, 10 o'clock and then has a bedtime? Like, it was stupid. It was always.
I know. It was, and like, it's the buzz of the Super Bowl. Like, people have parties, and you're watching clips of the game afterward. Like, I don't know. It's just like it's an event. It's like a daily. Like, it's the Super Bowl, man. Like, if you were to put the Super Bowl as a holiday, where would you rank it among your holidays? If you were to put the Super Bowl as a holiday, so you got Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, 4th of July, St. Patrick's Day. If we're considering it a holiday, what would you put it above? I'd put it at 3 behind Thanksgiving and Christmas.
I'd put it at 2 behind Christmas.
Not a big Thanksgiving guy? Come on, man.
No.
I Thanksgiving is up there for me, man.
Thanksgiving is good. It's because of its association with football, and you love football. You love watching football on Thanksgiving. I was always a Halloween type of kid. Like, Halloween and Christmas were my favorite too as a kid. But yeah, I would did you see how Argentina was celebrating their World Cup victory?
4 million people on the streets of Buenos Aires.
And obviously that will never happen because there's no one. I mean, New York and LA are massive and they're bigger than everything else. But and America will probably, even if we do win a World Cup, would we go out and do what they did? No, probably not. But let's say it was football. Let's say everyone took American football as serious as we do, or as serious as they do soccer. If America, and it was competitive, and we didn't win every time, if we won an American football World Cup, we would no one would go to work. No one would. It would be like the Queen dying, like how Great Britain got time. It would be like that. It would be like that. Yeah, imagine how Chicago is going to be when the Bears win the Super Bowl. It might I don't know when they would have that parade, and it's going to be February. It's going to be cold as hell. The wind chill could be how it's going to be on Saturday. Everyone is going to be at that damn parade. Everyone in the city who has ever worn blue and orange will be at that damn parade. It's going to be awesome. I mean, it'll be like how the Cubs was, but Chicago's a Bears town, right? It's a Bears town. So
I think they said the Cubs parade had, I want to say it was 3 million.
Really?
Something like that. How many people? And I was there. Were you there?
No, I wasn't.
You're not a
I
Cubs
should have
fan,
been.
but I had a bunch of
Yeah.
Sox fans there. Okay. Oh, okay. The internet says 5 million. No, there's no way. That would mean like if the whole entire population of the state of Chicago went to that parade, and then
and then everyone in the suburbs. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
No.
there's no way it was 5 million. But yeah, if the Bears won, like you would get people traveling from all over to come to that. You would like they would shut that city down for days. And I'm just envisioning now Justin Fields on the top of that bus holding that fucking trophy. Oh my god, it's gonna be glorious. And did you see Argentina's gonna put Messi on their $1,000 bill? Yeah, $1,000 bills. Yeah, they're considering it. I was like, if Chicago has a currency and Justin Fields brought this city a Super Bowl, that man should be on the put him. I don't know. Put him on the make a poster and put him on the Sears Tower. Like
He would. Yeah, they would drape something like over the river, or I don't know what's like a big building. Like I don't know, man. You know what they should do is like is it the Aon building? So whatever
Yeah,
building or the Blue Cross building where they leave the lights on. They should be like Fields is him. That's what they should do. Fields is him, or just him Fields, something like that. It should be
Fields is
cool.
him. Oh, they will. They will. They did something like that for the Cubs. They do that for everything. I think you just remove the bean and then just put a statue of Justin Fields right there.
100%. It's amazing how everyone in Chicago does we don't care for the bean. It's such a tourist attraction and it's so overrated. No one cares for the bean.
Like everyone's like, oh, go see the bean. Why? It's a bean. I don't what? I mean, you're in a cool part of the city. It's got a good view from there, but
there's so many better attractions in the city, and it's free, I guess, right? Like you just go downtown and you just walk there. But I don't know, sit around and watch the Bucket Boys play. Go to the observatory at the Hancock or the Sky Deck.
Yeah, dude.
Do something. Don't just go to a mirror.
Don't just go to a mirror.
It's just a giant 3D mirror. That's all it is.
Giant 3D mirror. You gotta do it for the Instagram. Gotta tag it. We've really ventured off here. So it is again. It's the holiday season again. For those listening on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, I don't know why you're listening to us on Christmas Day. Go open presents and enjoy time with your family, or if you're celebrating Hanukkah or whatever, But we appreciate you, all of you, in the video stream and the podcast form for listening to us as much as you do. Much love. We're gonna do a little bit of I wrote up some this or that holiday edition for us here. Some football related holiday things here to see where we're going. Maybe we'll make him do a TikTok. I've been kind of lazy on that. I don't want Kellen to get hurt before holiday season by our TikTok followers. But you turned out to be right about a lot of these takes you had back in summer. I gotta say, you commented on that wide receiver rankings list. It's pretty spot on. You had it.
That was pretty good.
They should listen. And the Justin Fields faster than Lamar take, that surely was correct. And that one blew up. So good on you. Okay, let's start with this. I don't know. Are you big into you're not huge into the NBA, right?
I mean, I know the superstars are we could talk about it though.
NBA Christmas or NFL Christmas? What is better? The three
NFL
Christmas
games
or
NFL
Christmas, because it's not even close for me between NFL Thanksgiving and NBA Christmas. But now that the NFL is consistently doing Christmas games, whether they fall on Sunday or not, they're going to do these 3 Christmas games every year, I think. What are you taking?
I would always take football over basketball. So NFL Christmas. I think the NBA does a good job of putting their best players on Christmas. I don't know who's playing this year, but I'm sure it's Giannis, Jokic, and the Sixers with Embiid, and probably I don't know if the Lakers, because the Lakers stink, but and then Ja and who else is good? Maybe the Nets. I don't know, but they do a good job of putting those guys on Christmas. But I'm always going to take football. I think is it the Eagles, Cowboys? Are they on Christmas? Or are they on Saturday?
No, they're pretty sure they're Saturday night.
That's cool too, though. Saturday night watching the Eagles Cowboys is that's cool too. Think about that.
Christmas Eve night. Yeah, that's actually going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to that. The Christmas games, I believe the Steelers play. You might get a little Mitch action on Christmas Eve. I'm not sure if Kenny Pickett's back, but a little Mitch action Christmas Eve. You got Cowboys Eagles are
that's 325.
The
the
America's game of the
Fox.
week.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Because they have to. Packers Dolphins is the first game, which actually isn't going to be a terrible game anymore. And the Packers are somehow in playoff contention. But then you have Broncos Rams. Oh my!
That sucks.
I'm not watching. I mean, I'm going to watch the game. See, that's the thing about the
And
NFL. It's
then
like you're going to watch the game, and then Bucks Cards,
Bucks,
which is
yeah, that
only
sucks.
relevant because of Tom Brady. Like, and you know the fact that one of these teams in the NFC South has to get in is just blasphemous. You're telling me they're all bad.
They're all
the Falcons
terrible.
aren't even eliminated. Like they're 5-9, not even eliminated. Absurd.
Yeah.
Kellen's taking NBA or NFL Christmas. So
I bet you the ratings for the NFL will be better on Christmas than the NBA, because
Always
even though
are.
like the quality of games is just considerably worse. Football is just a better game than basketball is.
It is, and it just reigns supreme. It's just a better thing to have on if you got family over. It's just everyone cares about it. It's more entertaining to watch again, even if the teams are bad. Like in the NBA this year too, you know, I follow it closely. All these games are blowouts, man. Like all of these games they're never close.
I remember seeing that on Twitter. People are complaining about it. Like
It's bad,
the
man.
parity
It's
is
like
not there this year.
it's not, and like it's weird because the standings don't really reflect that. Like it's not like there's a significant drop off between the top 8 teams and the bottom 8 teams. But also, like if I get Broncos Rams, even if it's 3-3 at the final fourth quarter, like I'd have that. I'd rather watch that, even if they've scored 6 points all game. I'd rather have a close game. Like that's what you look for as a fan for teams that you don't root for. You look for close games. Like everyone does that. So let's hope we get that. Okay, I got another one for you here. You know, I don't know how many snow and rain games you've played in, but what would you rather play in a snow game with 0-degree temperatures or negative, or a rain game that's like a 70-degree temperature game? What would you rather play?
Oh, rain, 100%.
Well, come on. You never were a kid wanting to play in the snow? Come on.
Kevin, at the beginning of the broadcast, at the end of the third quarter, what I was talking about the Wright State game, it was snowing. Let me, you know what? I'll find a picture of it the next time you're in the middle of a monologue and I'll pull it up. So at the end of the third quarter, we're all freezing. We're up big. We're up big, but there's no running clock in the postseason. So I pulled my team together, you know, gallant leader, all type of that shit. And I pull them in and I tell them, like, you know, and I've got to yell because I'm cold. So this is an escape for me to warm myself up, because when it's cold and you start yelling, it's like you warm yourself. So I'm telling them, like, this is a game that we all want to play in as a kid. Like, fight for one more quarter, and we're gonna have a championship. We're gonna have a trophy. Da, 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 da. After that game, I'm so happy that I got to experience that, but I never want to do it again. Every time you touch the ground, you're frozen, like, and your body is wet, and it's cold and windy. It's like having a wetsuit that doesn't warm you. I don't know. It's so bad. And you can throw the ball in the rain. It might be tough, but you can throw it. So I would take a rain game, man. It's fun. Everyone loves to, like, when you play Madden or something, you make the settings in a play now game, like, you know, you make it cold and snowy, right? And then you play in it and you're like, ooh, I don't know about that.
I literally had that in my notes. It's like, in Madden, I change it to snow every single time.
Yeah.
It's fun when you're a kid because you're wearing snow pants and you're wearing a coat. You're not exposed like you are when you're playing.
Yeah.
You got gloves on. You know, you're fumbling the football every 2 seconds.
That's what it is, though. I mean, shit, like, it's tough.
That's good. I got a couple other ones here. This one not really related to football. Would you rather get a bunch of smaller presents or one big present? I got to go with the smaller ones.
Or one big present.
Bunch of small ones. That's what I'm going with.
I would probably agree. Yeah.
From a valuation standpoint, you know, what you get out of each one is probably greater than what you get out of the big one. Unless you get like a car, then that's
right.
Who's getting a car?
Right. I'd probably take the smaller ones too. Like, you know, like an outfit here, pair of socks here, maybe a small little watch, you know, like a decent little watch there. You know, I'd probably take that. Nice aftershave or cologne, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. We're on the same page with that one. We are on the same page. I think there's a lot of people that disagree, though. You know, there's nothing like opening up that PS5. You know what I mean? Brand new PS5. Wow.
That would be cool too, but I mean, I don't know. Me and you we're grown. Like, we only hop on the game like every so often, you know.
Oh, come on, bro. What you mean, dog? What you mean? I'll be on that shit right after this. Come on, bro. You not hopping on? Let's go. If you were to recruit Santa, would you put him at offensive line or defensive line?
If I were to
Big
recruit
Mr.
Santa,
Is he better than Sam Mustafa? Would you rather have Sam Mustafa at center or Santa Claus?
I'd probably put him at D line. I'd put him at 3 tech because he has to he gets skinny through every chimney. So imagine you're running maybe you could even put him at like a base 5. You know, imagine you're running a T stunt, right? But your left guard is really good at redirecting and getting over to the stunt. Imagine Santa coming around the stunt and getting skinny, right? And then getting back square and getting to the quarterback. I think I have to put him on the D line.
That was so much more of an elaborate explanation than I expected. I love it. You were really, yeah, through the chimney. He's got to get thin. You know,
yeah, man.
Yeah, he absorbs the heat of the
He
fire.
Definitely has
too.
He has to have light feet because otherwise everyone would hear him in the house, and no one ever catches Santa. So
quick, nimble, light feet.
He's quick. I'm gonna have him on the D line.
Would you rather have him or Justin Jones? Justin Jones is a good player. I'm not gonna. He doesn't deserve that strike. Justin Jones doesn't deserve that strike. I'm not gonna give that to Justin Jones. He doesn't deserve that. He's a player who's gonna actually be. He's gonna be an important player for the next year. Maybe not important, but he's on a 2-year.
He's one of the few D line that they're gonna keep.
Yeah, absolutely. You said you like spiked eggnog. I don't have a this or that, but that's just disgusting. I'm sorry.
You're not an eggnog guy?
Eggnog is the worst thing ever created. If you enjoy eggnog, something is wrong with you.
I like eggnog. I'm an eggnog guy. I didn't like eggnog until late high school. Because I was always like, oh, eggnog. That's who wants to drink something called eggnog? And then my girlfriend made me try it the first holidays we were together. And ever since then, I've been hooked. So
Eric Cush agrees with you in the chat. You know, I'll give it another try. I don't think I've had eggnog in years. Maybe I've got the more acquired taste now. You know, I'm older. I've developed it.
What's your favorite liquor?
Vodka, probably. Tequila.
I've never tried it with either of those. We usually do like a cognac or something dark.
Yeah.
With eggnog.
I don't think it would taste good with anything else.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I am not, you know.
You're a bourbon guy?
No, God, no. God, no. Yeah. We got Dave Wants that comes to our studio every Thursday, and he drinks it's their thing that they drink bourbon on set, which is actually awesome. I love that they drink during the show. It's amazing. But they're always asking me if I want it. And I'm like, fuck that. That shit's disgusting. I don't have I'm sure when I'm 45 and I'm sitting on the couch yelling at the next Bears quarterback, I'll probably want some bourbon at that point. But not right now. Are you? There's no way.
No.
Yeah. Not mine. Really. Not my taste. We got to do quick bold predictions and game predictions before we head out of here. Again, Bears, Bills. You know, it's interesting. The Bills back to football now. I know we kind of went off the tangent there with some holiday stuff. 8 of the Bills' last 10 games have been 1-score games. And it's really interesting. Again, you know, the Bills are 11-3. But do they feel like the same dominant Bills as you expected or as you saw in the beginning of the year? Because they don't, in my opinion. They don't. They're a good football team. They're a top 3 team in the league. But they don't get that feel of dominance, that same feel of dominance as they did early in the year. Do you agree?
Weren't they just in a close game with the Lions not too long ago?
Yeah, they beat the Lions by 3. They just beat the Jets by a touchdown. They beat the Dolphins by 3. You know,
they're very beatable, especially with this defense. Josh Allen is still prone to mistakes and turnovers. So, you know, he's going to run the ball a lot. Force a turnover here or there, you're going to be in the game. And, I mean, outside of Gabe Davis has been good. Dawson Knox is good. But, outside of Diggs, there's no one that worries you on the offense. All of the running backs, Hennessy is absolutely what I put in it. And Hennessy is gross on its own. So you really got to kind of just tough through that and you got to mix it well. But I would say the Bills are not worrisome on that offensive side. They just have one of the best quarterbacks and playmakers in the league, and he's experienced at this point too, playing in cold weather games and just late season games. But I mean, James Cook is a solid back. Singletary is okay. Is Naheem Hines their other one?
Yeah,
I mean,
he's the only
none of those,
returner for them right now, though.
none of those guys, really worry you. So the Eagles' offense is better.
100%. And you saw what they were able to do against them, and I think it's going to be, oh man, I hope Jalen Johnson plays. Now it's unfortunate. So he's dealing with a broken thumb. If he's going to play, he's going to have to play with a club, which is like
Hmm.
a secondary player playing with a club. Like that's a hard thing to do.
It
No pass
is.
interference penalties for him, hopefully.
Yeah.
I can't grab. But I was so looking forward to that Diggs Johnson matchup because of that matchup with JJ Brown or AJ Brown versus Jalen Johnson was so good last week. Like those were just two all pros going at it, and it was so
Hmm.
fun to watch. And it was interesting because you finally saw a quarterback target Jalen Johnson, and it's like, oh, now that they're targeting him, he's finally showing up on the stat sheet. He's finally, people are finally recognizing the name, because in these other games, teams they know that the other corners on the Bears have been great, or really they've been able to find spots in that defense, when they're in zone, and they haven't thrown at Jalen Johnson. Like that's been the storyline of his career, is they have not thrown to him. But when he's put on the island and when teams throw to him, I remember there was a matchup last year in a game where he and Devontae were going at it, and he was locking Devontae down for a majority of the game. Like you're going to start to notice. So I think this is another week where if he plays, Josh Allen's going to target Stephon Diggs as he usually does. He's not going to be scared
Hmm.
of Jalen Johnson. He's going to throw the ball, and Jalen Johnson's going to have another opportunity to say, hey, I'm him. I'm him against one of the better receivers in the league, and I can make plays. So Marina Sands says the Eagles carved your defense up. Yeah, they did, but threw 2 interceptions.
Did
Their
they?
defense they certainly didn't on the ground from a rushing standpoint. They certainly did not. Miles Sanders was not efficient at all. And I wouldn't say they carved them up. To be honest, in the chunk play, a couple chunk plays at Devonta Smith where they carved us up. But the plays to
Hmm.
A.J. Brown were great defense, and they just
Yeah.
threaded it right in there.
Yeah, those were great throws and great job by AJ just tracking the ball. That's just an elite receiver and a very good approaching elite status quarterback in Jalen Hurts just making plays. I mean, it's going to happen. So I wouldn't say they carved us up. No.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they carved us up. That's a weird take. They didn't even score that many points in the game. Like I don't.
Who is
It,
this
it,
Marina
I
Sands?
don't know, but they certainly weren't moving the ball with ease the entire game. Like the Bears made things look difficult for Jalen Hurts
Yeah,
for a
they
little
shut
while
him
there.
down on fourth down
Yeah,
once, if not twice, and that was I mean, AJ Brown was clamped on that fourth down stop. Jalen
clamped.
Johnson had him in hell.
And as Marina
Over
Sands,
400 yards.
it
Watch the
doesn't
game.
matter. Like those, like this is why I hate when the broadcast they put up like Fox always, the team ranks, and they're like, oh, this team is, blank and this. It's like yards don't matter. I don't like.
Yards
They
don't
just
matter.
don't. They don't. If you're not getting a lot of yards, but you're scoring points, awesome. I don't give a shit how many yards. If you're allowing a lot of yards, but they're not scoring, awesome. And that's probably what the Bears defense is going to be. They're a defense that is built on takeaways. They might get down on the field on you. You're not gonna let them score a touchdown. You're gonna get a takeaway, right? Like that's what the Bears defense might be for a couple of years. So
Hmm.
yards don't matter. Don't throw that at me unless it's like a 550. Then they matter at that point. Bold predictions in this one again. Bears Bills Saturday, Christmas Eve, negative 17-degree weather at Soldier Field. You got anything bold for us here, Kellen? Jake Capone to Don's going with a brisker sack this game. Jake Capone to Don, one of our fellow loyal listeners in the chat. He says brisker sack.
Um, I'm gonna say Khalil Herbert and David Montgomery get in the end zone. Is that a bold prediction? I'd say both of
Sure.
them.
That's relatively bold. Okay. Both
Considering
are
how
rushing.
much Justin Fields gets in the end zone and takes touchdowns away, but when your
Right.
quarterback is a threat, he often scores in the red zone. And I'm sure they're gonna, like I said, they're probably gonna want to avoid that with him cramping up at the end of the game and it being very cold, and
True.
him obviously being the answer going forward. So
Okay. I like that. I'm gonna go. I'm along the lines of Jacob pointed out. I think Brisker gets an interception. We've seen Josh Allen be a little bit careless with the. What's that careless with the ball? Again, here's the thing about interceptions, and I
He's
tweeted
pretty
this.
careless. He's very arrogant. He has arm arrogance, and
Yeah,
he has a strong arm.
but it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't like, and this is why. Yeah, again, I tweeted this. I was comparing. Everyone got on my ass about it. I was comparing Justin Fields' interceptions to Josh Allen's and Patrick Mahomes, and they're right there. And I'm like, it doesn't matter if you're scoring points and winning the game. Like again, it doesn't matter. Like it can become a problem if it's causing to losses and it's happening in critical moments and it's too frequent. But if a guy's throwing 12 interceptions in a year and you're still ending up like 12-5 or 13-4 like the Bills might and still top offense in the league, it doesn't matter. It really it's a glorified punt in most scenarios. Like it's exactly what it is. So, but I wouldn't call him careless with the ball, but he does throw the ball around a lot, and arm arrogance is a great way to put it. When you know you have an arm that strong, you're going to try things a little bit, more difficult than what others are willing to try. And I think it's going to be a tip pass interception. Jalen Johnson's going to tip it, intercepted by Jaquan Brisker. There you go. Cool. That's a little more detailed for how bold it's going to be. Game predictions. As it currently stands, we're coming the final 3 weeks of the season here. I haven't updated the viewers and the listeners on where we stand with record predictions so far. I think Jake is still leading. Let me pull up the post. All right, so we all picked the Eagles last week. I got really cold because I picked the Bears in a couple games that I shouldn't have. Jake Hassan, 10-4, doing well. Jake Hassan, Kevin Lapke, and myself, 8-6. Kellen Gerenstein, 7-7. You've crawled your way back. You had a rough start. You've crawled your way back. Critical moment. You're gonna lose all validity as a predictor if you don't get this one right this week, Kellen. Bears, Bills. What is your official game prediction?
Bills 24. Bills 24, Bears 14.
So not a one-score game, huh?
Nah.
So the Herbert and Montgomery touchdowns are the only ones being scored for the Bears. No Justin Fields touchdowns in this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a bold prediction in itself.
That's a bold prediction in itself. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I don't
hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm really wrong.
Yeah, I hope you are too. I'll say it. I said it last week, and I'll say it again. I would not be surprised if the Bears somehow won this game. Like, I just wouldn't. Like, it almost.
Who do the Bills play next week?
Yeah, you might get another situation. I'm looking past you.
Another
Bengals.
Dolphins. Oh, the Bengals.
Oh, you're right.
On Monday night. Yeah.
It's not a division rival.
That's a big game, though. I mean, those are your second and third best quarterbacks in the AFC right now. Those are your non-Mahomes best quarterbacks, unless you throw Herbert in there, which, Herbert's amazing, but Burrow has been insanely good.
If the Chiefs lose a game and the Bengals beat the Bills would end up with the number 1 seed in the AFC, assuming they win the rest of their games. Because the Bills have the tiebreaker over the Chiefs, and the Bengals have the tiebreaker over the Chiefs and would have the tiebreaker over the Bills if they won. So You're right. Maybe they are looking ahead. Again, the ball bounces weird ways. It's not even out of the question.
Weirder things have happened in the NFL.
Way weirder things have happened.
The Texans should have beaten the Chiefs and the Cowboys the last 2 weeks. They should have won both of those games. Imagine if they did and the Bears had the first overall pick.
Honestly, yeah. You know what? I don't want to do it. But I'm going to do it.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to do it. I haven't done it this much. I haven't done it this year, Kellen. I haven't picked the Bears. I picked them to beat the Patriots, which was outrageous at the time, and that happened. I picked them to beat the Packers a couple weeks ago. That's not my fault, okay? Don't blame that on me. I've been right a lot of the times that I've picked the Bears to win games that they shouldn't win. I'm picking them to beat the Bills. I couldn't even give you an explanation. I think Justin Fields is, again, transcendent of the players that is on the field. on his side of the ball, transcending the defenses against him. He is going to be able to make plays. I think he rushes for a touchdown, throws for a touchdown. I think it's a tighter game. Like I think if they were to win this game, like I don't know if you're getting into a shootout with them. It's still a high scoring. I think the Bears win this game 26-24. Missed extra point somewhere along the way from Cairo Santos because he's been missing a lot. I just think they somehow come away with it. Again, weird things happen in the NFL. It's been a couple weeks since something really weird has happened. We've seen we've seen things get close to being weird. Again, with the Texans, I think things finally get weird. It's a weird time in the year. I don't know. What do I have to lose? Bears beat the Bills 27-20. What did I say? 26-24.
26-24. Love it.
Well, there's a lot on the line. If I get it wrong, then you're tied with me in the records. So this is significant for me. But I'm going out on a limb, and I'm doing the Bears fans a favor. Again, the last time I did this was the Patriots game. We won. So you're welcome. You might see a Bears win on Christmas Eve, and that's all I want for Christmas. Bears win. That's all I want.
Do we move down in the draft if we win?
We moved down. We moved down like 5 picks, I think. Yeah, it's a far fall, but I wanted to take that risk if it means we beat the Bills on Christmas Eve and I get to wake up Christmas morning to that joy.
Okay, but if everyone else loses, so Denver is 4. So we're 3-11. Denver, LA, and Arizona are all 4-10. Indianapolis is 4-9. Denver is playing. They're playing the Rams, right? So one of those teams is
on Christmas.
One of those teams is gonna have 11 losses. Okay. I don't know how that tiebreaker would go, but we'd still be third, and then the Cardinals would also have to lose if we won. And they play someone else bad. Was it the Buccaneers?
Cardinals play the Bucks, but
Trace McSorley is starting. Weirder things have happened, man.
Weirder things have happened.
I mean, shit, bro. I know Kyle Shanahan is a coach, but Brock Purdy just went out and supremely outplayed Tom Brady. And I know he has a much better team and a better coach, but
a much better coach.
Yeah.
But there you have it. Taking the Bears. Why not? Kellen's taking the Bills. He's lame. He's boring. He's going with the pundits. I'm pretty sure like 99% of analysts or whatever you want to call them have the Bears or the Bills. I guess I'm not an analyst because I'm picking the Bears. But again, appreciate all you guys in the chat. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. Best wishes from all of us here at Bears Nation Podcast. Myself, Kellen, and Jake, wishing you all our best. We will be back for a recap episode of this game probably on Monday. I'll be around on Monday. I don't know if Kellen will. Maybe I'll do a solo show, but it is the day after Christmas, so we never know. And then Bears do have a game after that we will be there for a preview episode of. Maybe we'll do some Bears therapy. We'll be around here for you, Bears Podcast. Be sure to follow, like, subscribe so you never miss an episode. Thanks for tuning in. Happy holidays. We'll see you next week.